So welcome to episode 2. As I mentioned later in the video, in the beginning of this video I wasn't feeling so talkative, so I figured I would just do a little voice intro with some of the pictures I took that day to give some context. So here's a picture of an eland spoor, which is a fancy word for footprint. Here's a picture of me standing in a whole pile of poo. I'm pretty sure it's a Dusty toilet. At the time, I thought this would be a cool photo because of all the poo that I saw the day before. To this day, which is weeks later, my shoes still smell like Dusty poo, so that's fun. Here is a crazy cool photo of a wildebeest horn, I believe. Just a singular horn that I found. I actually have been passing another piece of a similar horn on one of my runs, but they're very far from each other with regards to geographical location on this reserve. I doubt they're from the same animal, but you never know. Nature's wild. Here is a picture of this beautiful little beetle that I found, but he was running away from me. He flew away as I took the picture, and then I felt bad for invading his privacy. But this is the only picture I got. It's very blurry, but it was very, very beautiful, like mother of pearl, bluey green kind of colors. So I tried to get a picture, but this is what we got. Here is a photo of a bottle that I found on top of the mountain, and I don't know if any of you have seen that movie called The Gods Must Be Crazy. It's a South African movie. It's a very funny movie where it's set, I think, in the early 50s or 40s, like in the in the old days, and these guys are flying over a very indigenous area of Africa, and these guys are flying in an old school plane with just like an open plane, and the guy's drinking Coke, and he finishes it and he throws the bottle out the plane, and then it lands on a bushman's head. And then this whole story unfolds of the bushman. It was the first time they'd ever found this kind of item, because they'd only ever lived in the bush and dealt with like rocks and animals and plants and stuff, but they'd never discovered or encountered a man-made tool or product. So then the whole story carries on with the bushman trying to figure out what this bottle is, and there's big fights over it in the tribe and stuff. It's just a very funny movie. But when I saw this bottle just lying here on top of the mountain, it made me think of that movie. And then here's just some photos of me fooling around. There was this huge anthill. I actually struggled to climb on top of it. It was so big. It really doesn't look that big in this photo. The photos don't do it justice at all, but I actually struggled to get on top of it. It was so big. So here are some epic poses of me trying to take cool photos of me on top of a giant anthill. Yeah, so on this day I had an awesome adventure. It was a temperate day. I was in a good mood. I was in a chilled mood, and I did some cool things like crawl down an aardvark hole and observe some ants. But yeah, you'll see that now in the rest of the episode. Okay, so I have already checked this hole. There are no snakes or creatures down here. And I cleared all the spider webs. So now I'm going to go a bit deeper in. I mean, it's just a little hole, but it's quite spooky for humans. So I like to do things that spook me because they make me grow as a person without putting myself in danger. That's why I cleared the hole and checked it and everything. But now I'm going to crawl in because I like to overcome fears. So it's just a little crawl hole. I'm trying to see what's in there. Yeah,
That looks like where the aardvark or anteater went to meet the ant queen, I believe. That's what they do. So there's no spookies in there. It looks, when that hole was still dark, it looked like there might have been something in there, but that's generally just the human mind projecting fear into the unknown. Yeah, so I'm in an aardvark hole because I had a dream a few months ago where the earth was basically saying to me, like, you love me so much, but you're so scared of me, which is so true. I love nature so much, but like spiders, and like yesterday with that snake, like I get so spooked. And I know it's not even from my lived human experience, it's probably just from movies and stuff on the internet and stuff that's made me fear, that's like planted these fears in my mind. So I like to do things like this to give my mind lived personal experiences that allow me to overrule those images and images of fear which are non-experiential. So it's good to have personal lived experiences that help you overcome fears, because that's much more potent for your mind than an image is a personal lived experience with smell and sound and touch and taste.
I definitely feel like I grew from that experience. I'm proud of myself for doing that. When I saw this hole, I was like, you should crawl in that. And I was like, no, that's creepy and dangerous. And then I was like, is that really creepy and dangerous, or is that a cognition that I have picked up elsewhere? So I challenged myself, and I'm fine. I'm a little bit dirty, but that's all. And I'm braver for it, so I'm stoked I did that. So that's the hole I pulled in on that side. This is another hole. This is actually the hole that made me realize I could go in there, because I could see the daylight in the hole. Another ant hole. Well, not an ant hole, another ant hill. Completely destroyed by the aardvark. Another one up there. And there's one. Oh, it's a bit bright. Over there. Over there. In this lighting. When I started this walk this morning, I was feeling quite peaceful. I am still feeling very peaceful. But I was feeling quite non-verbal as well. So I just enjoyed my walk, and I sat for a long time and just enjoyed the peace and quiet of nature, which is something I'm really learning to do. I have quite a busy mind, as I'm sure most people can relate to. So I found on my walk up this morning, my brain was so busy, and then I heard these birds, and I realized they were probably like telling other birds, and other creatures would have been aware whether they were talking to them or not, that they were warning each other that something was coming, something unnormal for them was coming into the environment. And I realized how I'd just been so in my brain the whole time. I hadn't even realized, like, I was already at the top of the mountain and these birds were there, and there could have been wildebeest or warthogs or zebra or anything around that left without me even knowing it was there, because I was just walking in my own mind space without acknowledging or being fully aware of the environment around me, which is something humans have a huge tendency to do. We're very, very egocentric and mind-centered. And I've just really been trying to practice being present in the moment, in this time and space, because I've really been gifted with this time on this reserve where being present is pretty much what I'm doing here. But I was just thinking, when I was in that more introverted kind of quiet space, I was just thinking about how I've been making these videos, and I was just like, oh no, maybe I shouldn't do that, because yesterday I was feeling quite extroverted and I made the videos, and now today I'm feeling quite introverted and I don't feel like talking to anyone, so maybe I shouldn't make videos. But then now, yeah, as the day has progressed, a few hours later I'm feeling a bit more out, and I had that ant hill hole experience, and I feel quite excited by it, and I wanted to talk about it, so I started talking again. And it's just made me realize that we have to honor ourselves, you know. Sometimes we are going to be in a more introverted space where we don't want to give of ourselves to the world, and sometimes we are going to be in a more extroverted space where we have something that we do want to give to the world or engage with the world on. And it doesn't have to be either or. It doesn't have to be, oh, I'm introverted, I shouldn't make videos. Or I'm extroverted, I always make videos and I'm always talkative and always excitable and always ready to engage. Because that's not natural. Nature has cycles and rhythms. And I'm just learning in this time of being submersed in nature and being present with myself and nature. I'm really tapping into my own cycles, and even today, within today, I have experienced a minor cycle of this morning I was more introverted, and now I'm feeling a bit more outside of myself and able to come out and share my thoughts with a camera. But yeah, it doesn't have to be either or. That's all I wanted to say now is just we can honor ourselves and we can honor nature and we can honor cycles and rhythms, and not expect ourselves to be one way all the time or expect nature to be one way all the time. Like we've just, in South Africa, I'm pretty sure a lot of Africa, we've been in drought for a long time, for about 7 years, and the rains seem to have returned. I would say they have returned. Proper solid rains, dams are filling up and stuff in South Africa. And I just feel like that's another cycle. Maybe the rainy season cycle has shifted from being within months to be like within a few years or something, and maybe we need to just observe these bigger cycles and not think, oh, South Africa's in drought, it's never going to rain again, or oh, the rain's back. We don't need to plan for the future because we're always going to have rain. Humans can be so like doof, to be honest. Like, the rains are back, okay, cool, awesome, absolutely awesome, but that doesn't mean a drought will never hit Africa again. That doesn't mean we're going to have rain forever again. It would be awesome if we do. I'm not saying we won't, but if it doesn't mean we shouldn't plan for the fact, maybe build some more dams. Everyone should get rain tanks, still be water wise and all those things, because yeah, I think we shift realities too quickly, and then we think, oh, this is the way things are now, instead of realizing that everything is in a constant state of flux and everything is cyclical and everything has rhythms, and we need to be present with the way things are in our current reality, but not lose sight of the fact that they won't necessarily always be that way. So that means you must plan for the future and also don't count on things staying the same. That is something that will bring you a lot of misery in life if you count on life staying the same. If you embrace change and you embrace rhythms and cycles and fluctuation, then you're going to be surfing the waves of life with some ease and some joy. Yeah, so that's, I guess, some of the wisdom that the mountain has shared with me today, and that I have put into words, because that's one of my gifts. Nature is so hardcore, man. There's a ant here that's died, and all the other ants are gonna eat it. They're acting like madmen. I think they're a bit scared of me with the camera now, but cannibalism, bro. They're even fighting over it. I just said nature's hardcore. That's definitely true. But I was just thinking, I mean, once a being dies, I believe anyway, that the consciousness, the soul, whatever you want to call it, the spirit, vacates the premises. So I believe once you're dead, your body is just your body. So, I mean, I guess it is hardcore because us humans are emotional, attached, squeebly little creatures, but I guess it's actually pretty natural for the ants to just recycle the body of their dead comrade. I mean, what must they bury it? It's just a little carcass once it's dead. I don't even know if I believe that ants have souls. I mean, they totally might. It's just not something I've given much thought to, but definitely alive. So there's some kind of animate energy there, and then it dies, and then it's just a body. So why not make use of it here? Nature does that, uses everything, which I think is very cool, unlike us wasteful humans. Yeah. And that's all for today. See you next time.